For over 200 years, explorers, scientists, and treasure hunters have risked their fortunes and their lives on a tiny island off the coast of Nova Scotia. They believe that buried deep below its surface lies one of the greatest treasures ever hidden by humankind. But no one has ever found it. Why? Is it cursed? Or is the world's greatest treasure hunt built on nothing but myth? Today, we're going to uncover the truth. Welcome to the Curse of Oak Island, the greatest treasure hunt in history. In this episode, we'll journey through the fascinating tale of discovery, obsession, and mystery that has captivated treasure seekers for over 2 centuries. From strange symbols to ancient traps and a chilling curse that has taken 6 lives, this is a story that refuses to die. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll know what might really be hidden beneath Oak Island, and whether the curse is real. Welcome to the Curse of Oak Island, the greatest treasure hunt in history. In this episode, we'll journey through the fascinating tale of discovery, obsession, and mystery that has captivated treasure seekers for over 2 centuries. From strange symbols to ancient traps and a chilling curse that has taken 6 lives, this is a story that refuses to die. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll know what might really be hidden beneath Oak Island, and whether the curse is real. It all began on a quiet summer day in the year 1795. The world was simpler then. No modern machines, no internet theories, just whispers of pirates, adventure, and buried gold. On the southern coast of Nova Scotia lies a small, unassuming patch of land known as Oak Island. But what happened here more than 2 centuries ago would ignite one of the longest and strangest treasure hunts in human history. Imagine being a 16-year-old boy, wandering the wilderness with curiosity and a spark of adventure. That was Daniel McGinnis, a local from Chester, Nova Scotia. One afternoon, while exploring the dense oak-covered island, he stumbled upon something odd. It wasn't a glittering chest or a pile of coins, but a circular depression in the ground about 30 feet wide, surrounded by trees that seemed unusually old and undisturbed. Right above the depression hung the remains of an old block and tackle suspended from an oak tree limb, as if someone had once used it to lower or raise something heavy into the ground. The sight stirred Daniel's imagination. What could it be? A pirate's hiding spot? A secret cache of goods? Or something far older, something meant to stay buried? He rushed to tell his 2 closest friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, both young men as curious and fearless as he was. Within days, the 3 returned to the site with shovels and lanterns, ready to dig into the unknown. As they began to dig, the excitement grew. Just 2 feet down, they struck flagstones, smooth, flat stones that clearly didn't belong in the soil of that region. Someone had placed them there deliberately. Beneath that layer, the earth turned compact and darker, as though it had been refilled at some earlier time. At 10 feet deep, they hit their first real surprise: a layer of oak logs laid across the pit, forming a solid platform. The boys looked at one another in disbelief. This was no random hole. Someone had constructed this, carefully with purpose. They removed the logs and continued downward. Another 10 feet, another layer of oak logs. Then again, at 30 feet, another wooden platform. Each level looked identical, logs placed neatly across the shaft, sealed with clay and coconut fiber. But wait, coconut fiber? On a cold Canadian island? That detail would puzzle researchers for centuries, because coconuts are not native to Nova Scotia. They come from tropical regions thousands of miles away. The deeper the boys went, the more they realized they were facing something far beyond their understanding. An engineered pit, perhaps centuries old, with a design meant to protect whatever lay beneath. But at 30 feet, exhausted and without proper tools, the trio gave up the dig. They decided to return later with more help. Years passed, and the story of Daniel McGinnis's strange pit spread across the nearby towns. In 1804, the tale reached a group of wealthy investors who formed the Onslow Company, determined to uncover the treasure once and for all. With manpower, resources, and machinery, they resumed the excavation, starting from where the boys had left off. As they dug deeper, they discovered that every 10 feet there was yet another oak platform, perfectly spaced and tightly sealed. At 60 feet, they found layers of charcoal, putty, and coconut fiber, each material seemingly placed with deliberate intent, like markers or protective barriers. By 90 feet, anticipation was reaching a fever pitch. Then came the find that changed everything. Embedded within a layer of stone, they discovered a flat, carved tablet, its surface inscribed with strange symbols, none of which anyone could decipher. It looked ancient, perhaps coded, as if revealing a message to those who could understand it. The tablet was reportedly translated decades later by a local schoolteacher, who claimed it read, "40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried." Whether that translation was real or not, we may never know, because the original stone vanished sometime in the 19th century. But the discovery reinvigorated the diggers' determination. They continued their descent into what was now known as the Money Pit, the most infamous hole in treasure hunting history. At 98 feet, they hit yet another wooden platform. The excitement was electric. Everyone believed the next few feet would reveal the treasure of legends, perhaps the lost gold of Captain Kidd, or the secret wealth of the Knights Templar. But that night, as they rested, the pit suddenly flooded with water. Cold, salty water surged from below, filling the shaft up to 33 feet in just hours. All attempts to pump it out failed. Something or someone had designed a flooding system, a trap to protect whatever lay beneath. Engineers later theorized that channels had been dug from nearby Smith's Cove to the Money Pit, allowing seawater to rush in whenever the shaft was breached beyond a certain depth. The Onslow Company tried everything. They dug secondary shafts alongside the original pit, hoping to bypass the flooding system, but each time they broke through, water gushed in faster than they could remove it. It was as if the island itself was alive, defending its secret. Years passed and the Money Pit became legend. Other companies took up the challenge. The Truro Company, the Oak Island Association, the Restall family, and eventually in modern times the Lagina brothers. Each generation came armed with better technology and deeper pockets, but the pattern never changed. Discovery, hope, disaster, and mystery. Yet everything goes back to that first day in 1795, when a curious boy named Daniel McGinnis noticed a depression in the ground and decided to dig. That single decision set into motion a 200-year mystery that has consumed millions of dollars, countless lives, and endless speculation. Because on that island, beneath layers of earth, stone, and sea, someone built something extraordinary, centuries before Daniel ever arrived. And the question that still echoes across time is simple. The pit that Daniel McGinnis and his friends discovered soon became known as the Money Pit, a name that would turn out to be eerily prophetic. It wasn't just because people believed treasure was hidden within. It was because this strange hole would end up swallowing more wealth, time, and lives than any fortune it could possibly hold. By the early 1800s, the story of the pit had spread beyond Nova Scotia. Tales of buried treasure, pirate gold, and mysterious engineering drew the attention of wealthy investors and adventurers across the region. The Onslow Company, the first organized expedition to properly excavate the site, had already uncovered layers of oak, clay, charcoal, and even that mysterious inscribed stone suggesting unimaginable wealth buried 40 feet below. But when their shaft flooded at 98 feet, it became clear that whoever built this pit had not intended for it to be easily opened. The engineers brought in pumps, but the more they tried to drain the pit, the faster the water seemed to pour in. Some swore they could even hear the sound of rushing tides through the earth, as if the sea itself had been connected to the pit through some kind of hidden channel. And then came a terrifying realization. When the tides rose in Smith's Cove, the water level in the Money Pit rose too. When the tide fell, the water receded. The connection was real. Someone had designed an elaborate flood system centuries earlier, and it still worked perfectly. The Onslow men dug auxiliary shafts, trying to intercept the tunnel that fed the water in. But each time they hit more floods, collapses, and quicksand-like mud that swallowed their efforts whole. By 1805, the company ran out of funds and patience. They abandoned the site, leaving the mystery unresolved. But the Money Pit had already taken hold of people's imaginations. It wasn't just a hole in the ground anymore. It was a riddle, one layered with human ingenuity, danger, and the promise of hidden riches. And soon, new explorers arrived to continue where others had failed. In 1849, nearly half a century after McGinnis's discovery, a new group called the Truro Company took charge. By now, Oak Island's legend had grown into a feverish tale told in taverns and ports that pirates, possibly Captain Kidd himself, had buried vast treasures on the island, sealed beneath booby traps and complex tunnels. The Truro Company wanted proof. They began by clearing out the old shaft, but it quickly collapsed from years of decay. So they dug a new one nearby, attempting to reach the supposed treasure chamber from the side. When they reached about 100 feet down, they decided to use a relatively new technology, the drill auger, to bore into the deeper sections of the pit and bring up samples from below, and that's when things got truly strange. As the drill penetrated deeper, it hit layers that seemed artificially constructed. First oak planks, then a few inches of metal fragments, then another layer of wood. Then the drill struck something soft, like fabric, followed by what felt like metal again. When they pulled the drill back up, the auger brought with it small pieces of gold chain, and what looked like 3 distinct layers of oak and metal, almost as if a treasure chest was sealed between wooden floors. The men were electrified. They believed they had finally located the treasure chamber. But when they returned to dig deeper, disaster struck once more. The entire shaft flooded again, this time faster than ever before. No amount of pumping or digging could stop the flow. It was as if the island was protecting itself. Frustration turned to obsession. Engineers began to study the entire island, mapping the flow of water between Smith's Cove and the Money Pit. That's when they made another shocking discovery. Hidden beneath the beach at Smith's Cove were 5 stone drains, arranged like the fingers of a hand, all leading into the main pit. Each drain was lined with layers of coconut fiber and eelgrass, creating a natural filter system that allowed seawater to flow freely but kept out sand and debris. This was 18th century technology at its finest, except it wasn't from the 18th century. The engineering was so advanced that even modern hydrologists were stunned. Who could have built something this complex hundreds of years earlier? The answer was lost to time, buried under mud, water, and layers of secrecy. By the mid-19th century, Oak Island was no longer just a local curiosity. It was a full-blown international enigma. Newspapers in Canada, the United States, and even Europe were printing stories about the island's bottomless pit and the legendary curse said to guard it. Some believed it was a pirate's hoard, others that it was the lost treasure of the Knights Templar or even the Ark of the Covenant itself. The deeper the explorers dug, the more impossible the mystery became. Every time they seemed close, the island fought back. Shafts collapsed, flood tunnels opened, and worse, lives began to be lost. In 1861, during an excavation by the Oak Island Association, a tragic accident occurred when a pump boiler exploded, killing a worker instantly. It was the first recorded death on the island, and according to the legend that would later emerge, 7 men must die before the treasure is found. Over time, 6 have already met that fate. Still, the work continued. The association managed to dig several new shafts and even tried blocking the flood tunnels by dumping clay and debris into Smith's Cove, but the water always returned. They thought they could outsmart the island. They were wrong. By the late 1800s, the site had earned its grim nickname, the Money Pit, not because it held money, but because it consumed it. Fortunes were poured into the ground and none ever came back up. Investors went bankrupt, workers lost their lives. Families were left with nothing but stories and disappointment. Yet no one could walk away for good. Something about the pit, its precision, its mystery, called to people. It wasn't random, it wasn't natural. It was built by someone for something. And the deeper diggers went, the more they realized they were dealing with a mind, or a group of minds, far ahead of their time. When the Restall family arrived in the 1950s, they brought new hope, modern equipment, and an almost spiritual devotion to the mystery. But tragedy struck again when 4 men, including Robert Restall himself, died after inhaling poisonous gas near the pit. The curse, it seemed, was still alive. The Money Pit remained an unsolved puzzle, one built with intention, protected by technology beyond its era, and guarded by a series of lethal traps that seemed designed to ensure no one would ever reach the bottom. Over time, it became clear that Oak Island was not just about gold or silver. It was about design, engineering that hinted at secret knowledge, perhaps connected to ancient societies or forgotten orders. The precision of the tunnels, the flood system, and the materials, coconut fibers from distant islands, oak logs perfectly aligned every 10 feet. All of it pointed to something greater than pirate greed. Whoever constructed it, they wanted the treasure, whatever it was, to remain hidden, maybe forever. And though centuries have passed, the pit still stands defiant, a hole that resists every attempt to uncover its heart. The money pit has claimed fortunes, reputations, and lives, and yet it continues to whisper its siren song to anyone who dares believe they can outsmart the curse of Oak Island. For more than 2 centuries, the pit on Oak Island has kept its secrets buried deep beneath layers of earth, stone, and salt water. No one has ever reached its true bottom, and no treasure has ever been recovered, yet the world continues to speculate. The money pit has become the ultimate riddle, and over the years it has spawned some of the most fascinating, bizarre, and compelling theories in history. Everyone believes they know what lies beneath Oak Island. But the truth, as always, might be stranger than anyone dares to imagine. The first and most popular belief is that the pit hides pirate treasure, a fortune stolen during the golden age of piracy. In the 17th and 18th centuries, Nova Scotia's coastline was a haven for pirates, privateers, and smugglers. The region's countless inlets and islands provided perfect hiding spots for loot and secrecy. Among the names whispered most often is Captain William Kidd, one of the most infamous pirates to ever sail the Atlantic. Legend says that before Kidd was captured and executed in 1701, he buried an enormous treasure, gold, silver, and priceless jewels, somewhere in the New World, vowing that no one would ever find it. The depth, the engineering, the clever traps, all fit the personality of a man known for his cunning. Some even claim that Kidd was seen sailing near Nova Scotia before his arrest, and that Oak Island was his final hiding place. But skeptics argue that pirates weren't known for such elaborate constructions. They buried treasures quickly and simply, never with the precision of flood tunnels and coated stones. So if it wasn't pirates, then who? That question led to one of the most captivating and enduring theories, the Knights Templar. According to this idea, the pit may hide relics far older and more sacred than any pirate loot, possibly the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, or even the lost scrolls of Solomon's Temple. The Templars were known as warrior monks who became enormously wealthy and powerful during the Crusades. They guarded religious relics, sacred knowledge, and treasures collected from Jerusalem. When the Templars were disbanded by the Church in the early 1300s, many of their members vanished, along with their riches. Some believe the surviving knights fled to Scotland, and from there, sailed west across the Atlantic centuries before Columbus ever dreamed of America. The evidence? Templar crosses carved into stones found on and near Oak Island, mysterious symbols resembling those of ancient orders, and historical records showing that Scottish explorers were indeed active in the North Atlantic long before official discovery routes were established. If the Templars truly reached the New World, it makes sense that they would hide their most sacred artifacts somewhere safe, protected by complex engineering, perhaps even under a curse meant to deter the unworthy. But there's another theory, one that connects Oak Island to one of literature's greatest mysteries, the lost works of William Shakespeare. In the late 19th century, a man named Francis Bacon, philosopher, scientist, and statesman, was rumored to have written the plays attributed to Shakespeare. Supporters of the Baconian theory believe that Bacon, a member of secret societies like the Rosicrucians, may have hidden his original manuscripts, along with coded documents and scientific works, in a secure underground vault. Some claim that Bacon's followers built the Oak Island money pit as part of a grand Masonic project, a literal vault of knowledge meant to preserve wisdom for future generations. The mysterious inscription stone, the precise engineering, and the strange symbols all seem to align with Masonic and Rosicrucian traditions. If true, the pit might not hold gold or jewels, but something even more valuable, the written legacy of human genius. Others have proposed that the island hides royal treasures, specifically the lost jewels of Marie Antoinette. As the French Revolution reached its violent peak, the doomed queen allegedly entrusted her maid with a cache of priceless jewels and artifacts, instructing her to flee to safety. That maid reportedly escaped to Nova Scotia with French loyalists, possibly carrying the treasure that later found its way to Oak Island. While there's little proof of this tale, the timing and the connections to French settlers in the area make it one of the most romantic theories of them all. Then there's the theory that Oak Island itself may be the remnant of something even more ancient, a site of pre-Columbian contact or an outpost of a lost civilization. Some have pointed to the use of coconut fiber, an exotic material never found naturally in Nova Scotia, as proof that seafarers from distant lands, perhaps from the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, or even the Middle East, visited the island centuries before Europeans officially arrived. Could the pit be the work of Phoenician sailors, known for their maritime skills and secretive trade routes? Or perhaps of Norse explorers who reached Vinland, modern-day Newfoundland, around the year 1000? There are even wilder suggestions. Some believe the pit is a geological anomaly, a sinkhole or a collapsed cavern system later misinterpreted as man-made. Others think it could be the remains of a military installation, a hidden weapons cache from the colonial wars, or even an unfinished maritime dry dock built by early settlers. But as time went on and evidence accumulated, a strange pattern began to emerge. Each layer of the pit seemed too deliberate, too purposeful to be a natural formation. Oak platforms at perfect intervals, charcoal, clay, and coconut fiber arranged with precision, flood tunnels crafted with almost mathematical accuracy. It all pointed to advanced engineering and perhaps a deeper motive than simply hiding gold. When researchers began analyzing some of the artifacts found near the site, ancient coins, shards of pottery, fragments of parchment, and even bits of human bone from different continents, the mystery deepened. What if Oak Island wasn't built by one group, but several over centuries? A place where secrets were passed from one generation to another, each adding its own layer to the hidden labyrinth below. Even today, with ground-penetrating radar, seismic scanning, and underwater exploration, the island refuses to give up its truth. Modern studies have revealed vast underground cavities, tunnels that connect to the sea, and metallic anomalies buried deep beyond the reach of current technology. Some appear to be chambers or vaults, but no one can reach them without triggering new floods. It's as if the builders wanted to ensure that only those with the right knowledge, the right key, could ever access what lies beneath. Every theory, from pirates to Templars, from lost civilizations to secret societies, tells a different story. Yet they all share one thread: Oak Island was built with intent. Someone, long ago, devoted unimaginable effort to construct a complex system of tunnels and traps, not for whimsy, but for purpose. The pit seems almost symbolic, like a message carved into the earth, a challenge to future generations. How badly do you want to know? How much are you willing to lose to uncover the truth? And so, the theories continue to grow, layer upon layer, just like the pit itself. Each new discovery opens 100 new questions, and every attempt to find the treasure only pulls humanity deeper into the mystery of Oak Island, where the answer to what lies beneath remains forever just out of reach. For generations, Oak Island has been a place where mystery and tragedy walk hand in hand. Beneath the whispers of gold and ancient relics, there's another story, one darker, more personal, and far more chilling. It's the story of the curse, the old legend that warns, 7 must die before the treasure is found. No one knows exactly when that prophecy began, or who first uttered it, but those who dare to dig on Oak Island know it well. Some say it was born from the island's earliest tragedies, others claim it dates back centuries, passed down through old seafaring tales. Yet whether you believe in curses or not, what has happened on Oak Island over the last 200 years has made even the most skeptical men glance over their shoulders and wonder if something unseen watches over that ground. The first death came in 1861, the Oak Island Association. A group of investors determined to finish what others had started was drilling deep into the pit when disaster struck. Steam engines had been brought to power new pumps that would, they hoped, finally conquer the flooding tunnels. The men worked long hours, their bodies coated in mud and sweat, their minds fixed on the thought of treasure. Then, suddenly, one of the boilers exploded with deafening force. In an instant, a worker was killed, his body thrown by the blast. The site fell silent, and when the smoke cleared, the men looked at each other with dread. They had paid the pit's first blood price, but the work continued. The island has that effect on people. No matter what it takes, they keep digging. Through the decades, teams came and went. Fortunes were spent, and the legend of the curse grew stronger. In 1897, tragedy nearly struck again when another group attempted to drive a drill into the pit. One man was nearly crushed when the ground collapsed beneath him. He survived, but it was as if the island had given another warning. This ground does not welcome intruders. The early 20th century brought with it new technology and new optimism. Explorers thought that modern machinery could finally beat the old engineering. They built pumps, reinforced shafts, and even attempted to seal the flood tunnels by building dams in Smith's Cove. Yet time and again, the sea found its way back in. And as if that weren't enough, the men began to experience something else: unexplained accidents, equipment failures, and eerie coincidences that made even the bravest question what they were dealing with. In 1959, the Oak Island story took another dark turn. A man named Robert Restall, along with his son and a small team, arrived on the island full of hope and determination. Restall was no stranger to danger. He was methodical, resourceful, and absolutely convinced he could outsmart the island's traps. He had built air shafts, dug tunnels, and worked tirelessly for years. Locals described him as a man possessed, driven not by greed but by the need to know the truth. But one humid August afternoon, that truth came at a terrible cost. As Restall leaned over one of the shafts, he was suddenly overcome by fumes rising from below carbon monoxide, or perhaps another gas released from the ground. He fell unconscious, tumbling into the pit. His son, seeing his father's body lying motionless below, rushed to save him. Then he too was overcome. One by one, workers leapt in to rescue them, only to meet the same fate. When the air cleared, 4 men lay dead. News of the tragedy spread quickly. 4 lives lost in one afternoon. 4 names added to the growing list of those who had given everything to Oak Island. Locals began to whisper again about the curse, the prophecy that 7 must die before the treasure reveals itself. With the Restall family's loss, that number had climbed to 5. 2 more, they said, would need to fall before the mystery could ever be solved. Still, men kept coming. In 1965, a year after the Restall tragedy, a young geologist named Robert Dunfield arrived with heavy machinery and scientific instruments. He was determined to bring logic and geology to a place steeped in superstition. He dismissed talk of curses as foolishness, but even his work was plagued by strange setbacks, equipment breaking down for no reason. Sudden flooding despite low tides, maps and measurements that seemed to contradict each other. Dunfield left after a year, his project incomplete, his confidence shaken. He later admitted that Oak Island was unlike any place he had ever studied. Decades later, in the 1970s, Dan Blankenship, an American treasure hunter, would move to the island permanently. He was driven by a single vision: to find the truth no matter how long it took. Dan often spoke about feeling watched on the island. He described moments when his equipment would malfunction only when he was close to something important, and nights when the winds seemed to carry whispers from the pit. Whether it was paranoia or something unexplainable, he never let fear stop him. Yet, in 1976, another fatal accident occurred. This time, a man fell into one of the new boreholes and drowned before anyone could reach him. That made 6 dead. One more, according to the curse, still owed to the island. It's easy to dismiss legends, but when patterns repeat across generations, they start to feel like truth. The curse of Oak Island isn't just about death, it's about obsession. The way it consumes those who come too close. Every man who sets foot on the island believes he will be the one to break the cycle, to succeed where others failed. But somehow the island always wins. The strange part is that even those who survive often describe the same thing: a magnetic pull, a voice that whispers just enough hope to keep them digging. There are accounts of tools disappearing and reappearing in places no one had been. Strange lights seen over the money pit at night. Compass needles spinning wildly. One worker even claimed to see ghostly figures near the shore vanishing when approached. Whether it's psychological, natural, or something supernatural, Oak Island has a way of getting inside a person's mind and refusing to let go. When modern treasure hunters Rick and Marty Lagina took over in the early 2000s, they came with advanced equipment, sonar scans, and ground-penetrating radar. They promised to combine science with perseverance. Yet, even with all their technology, they faced the same frustrations as those who came before them: flooding shafts, collapsing tunnels, and near-fatal close calls. In one episode, a team member nearly drowned when an air hose malfunctioned. The curse still seemed to linger, silent but ever-present. Over the years, skeptics have tried to explain the so-called curse scientifically: accidents caused by toxic gases, unstable soil, or sheer human error. But for those who've worked the island, the line between logic and legend blurs quickly. Every failure, every injury, every unexplained occurrence adds weight to the feeling that the island docentee just contained a secret that protects it. The legend of 7 must die has become more than folklore. It's a reminder that this mystery demands a price, that every inch of ground dug on Oak Island is paid for in sweat, money, and sometimes blood. Whether it's fate, coincidence, or something more sinister, the curse remains part of the island's identity. It is as real to the people who walked those muddy paths as the treasure they chased beneath them. And as history has shown, those who challenge Oak Island rarely leave unchanged. Some lose their fortunes, others lose their lives, and the rest lose something deeper: a piece of themselves claimed by the endless whisper of the money pit and the chilling weight of the curse that refuses to die. 2 centuries have passed since Daniel McGinnis first uncovered that strange depression in the soil, and yet the island still refuses to reveal its truth. Generations of explorers, engineers, and dreamers have come and gone, each convinced they would be the one to break the curse, to pierce the island's defenses, and to unearth the treasure of legends. But the modern era brought something no one before had: technology, science, and precision. The dreamers of the past had shovels and hope. The new age of treasure hunters came armed with sonar scanners, seismic imaging, and ground-penetrating radar. When Rick and Marty Lagina, 2 brothers from Michigan, first set foot on Oak Island, they weren't just chasing a myth, they were chasing a childhood dream. Rick, the elder brother, had read about the island as a boy in Reader's Digest and had never been able to shake the feeling that something about that story was calling to him. Decades later, with Marty's support and funding, that childhood curiosity turned into a mission. The Lagina brothers didn't arrive as reckless fortune seekers, they came as investigators, determined to use science, logic, and patience to finally uncover the truth behind Oak Island's centuries-old mystery. From the very beginning, their approach was different. They assembled a team of experts: geologists, historians, divers, engineers, and even military veterans, each bringing a unique skill to the operation. Together, they formed what would become the Oak Island Fellowship, a group dedicated to solving the puzzle systematically, piece by piece. Their work would soon be captured by cameras and broadcast to millions of viewers across the world in the documentary series The Curse of Oak Island. But television fame didn't make the island any easier to conquer. Every new discovery seemed to open 2 new questions, and every victory came with its own setback. The brothers began by re-examining the Money Pit area, the same place that had swallowed so many hopes and lives before. Using advanced drilling rigs, they sent steel caissons deep into the ground, hoping to map the structure below without triggering the floods that had doomed past expeditions. Their instruments began returning strange results. Metal readings, cavities, void signals that suggested something man-made still lurked far beneath the surface. When they lowered cameras into the boreholes, the images that came back were haunting shadows of wooden beams, flashes of what looked like metal, even what appeared to be parchment fragments preserved in the depths. Each frame reignited centuries of speculation. Could this be the treasure chamber the Truro Company had drilled into in 1849? Was this where the inscribed stone had once pointed? While the money pit continued to tease and torment, the team turned their attention to Smith's Cove, the shoreline believed to hide the flood tunnel system that connected the pit to the sea. What they found there would shock even the skeptics. Beneath the sand and seaweed lay remnants of elaborate structures, wooden platforms, stone drains, and an intricate system of box-like tunnels that matched the 19th century reports of man-made flood channels. The engineering was undeniable. Someone, long before modern machinery, had built a complex water trap that still functioned perfectly after hundreds of years. Among the artifacts discovered in Smith's Cove were items that seemed out of place in time. A wrought iron cross that some claimed resembled Templar iconography, fragments of hand-forged nails, pieces of coconut fiber, and even evidence of mercury contamination, possible clue pointing toward alchemical preservation techniques used to protect ancient documents or relics. The deeper the team dug, the clearer it became that Oak Island wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was deliberate, designed, and masterfully built. But Oak Island has a way of humbling those who challenge it. Each excavation brought new floods, mechanical breakdowns, and spiraling costs. The brothers often spoke of how the island seemed alive, almost sentient, testing their resolve with every step. When storms hit Nova Scotia, Oak Island always seemed to bear the brunt, as if nature itself was guarding what lay beneath. Equipment would fail mysteriously, drills would jam, and sections of carefully reinforced ground would suddenly collapse without warning. Despite the obstacles, the discoveries kept coming. In one borehole, the team found fragments of hand-cut wood at depths far beyond any natural explanation, evidence of human construction more than 100 feet underground. In another, they unearthed a small piece of vellum parchment, possibly from the 1600s, with traces of ink still visible. Could this have been part of the legendary manuscripts rumored to be hidden there, the Shakespearean works? Or perhaps religious texts from Europe's dark past? Meanwhile, on the surface, metal detectors and excavations uncovered relics scattered across the island: a Roman-style sword, old coins from Spain and Britain, a lead cross dating to the medieval period, and even a carved stone with mysterious markings that no one could decode. Each artifact added another layer of complexity, suggesting that multiple groups, perhaps across centuries, had come to this small island for reasons still unknown. The Lagina brothers also focused on Lot 5, an area long overlooked by earlier treasure hunters. There, they uncovered foundations of ancient stone structures and evidence of tunnels leading inland. Ground scans revealed anomalies that seemed to form geometric patterns, too precise to be natural. Were these markers entrances? Or part of a larger underground network stretching across the entire island? To understand the bigger picture, the brothers brought in historical researchers to comb through archives across Europe and North America. Their findings were astonishing. Maps from the 1600s showed markings that matched Oak Island's topography. Old Masonic and Templar documents hinted at a sanctuary across the sea, a hidden vault meant to safeguard something of divine importance. Even nautical charts from privateer captains seemed to reference a money pit near the coast of Nova Scotia. It wasn't proof, but the coincidences were too many to ignore. The island itself became a living museum of contradictions, ancient relics buried beneath modern machines, science trying to decode superstition. And through it all, the curse still lingered. The team took precautions, but close calls continued. Heavy machinery once nearly collapsed into a void, and a diver exploring an underwater tunnel was nearly trapped when debris shifted unexpectedly. Some nights, the team reported hearing echoes of digging, as if the island's original builders were still at work just beneath the surface. As technology advanced, the Fellowship used montomography and 3D seismic mapping to visualize what lay below. The scans revealed vast voids, some the size of cathedrals, stretching beneath the money pit area and leading toward the ocean. Metallic anomalies within these voids suggested something was down there, something artificial, sealed away centuries ago. Each season brought them closer. Every discovery seemed to confirm that Oak Island's mystery wasn't a legend. It was a carefully designed puzzle, waiting for someone with enough patience, courage, and sacrifice to solve it. Yet the deeper they dug, the more dangerous the work became. The island still demanded its toll. Machinery broke, the sea flooded new shafts, and funds drained faster than the pit itself. For the Lagina brothers, it was never just about finding gold. It was about answers, understanding who built this, how they did it, and what secret they believed was worth hiding at such a tremendous cost. The evidence suggested intelligence, purpose, and resources far beyond anything expected in that era, whether it was pirates, Templars, royal exiles, or unknown explorers. The island was undeniably human-made, a monument to secrecy and obsession. And so, the modern dig continues, with each passing year peeling back another layer of the enigma. The Fellowship's machinery hums over the same soil that Daniel McGinnis once dug with a shovel 200 years ago. But the island remains silent, guarding its truth with the same stubborn will that has defied generations of dreamers, scientists, and believers. For centuries, the world has wondered what secret Oak Island is hiding. Every artifact, every fragment of wood, every trace of metal seems to whisper a story too vast for one lifetime to tell. After 200 years of relentless searching, countless theories have risen and fallen. Some dismissed as fantasy, others strengthened by undeniable evidence, but what does all of it really mean? What does the sum of all discoveries point toward? Is Oak Island truly the resting place of a hidden treasure? Or is it something far more extraordinary, something that challenges what we think we know about history itself? When experts began to analyze all the findings collected over decades, patterns began to emerge. These weren't random coincidences or scattered relics left behind by chance. The island's engineering, the flood tunnels, the layered shafts, the subterranean voids was far too deliberate, too advanced for the 18th or even 17th century. To build something like the Money Pit would have required not just manpower, but knowledge of geology, hydrodynamics, and large-scale construction techniques far beyond the reach of simple pirates. So if it wasn't pirate treasure, who built it? One theory that continues to gain traction is the Templar hypothesis. Historians and researchers have found intriguing parallels between the symbols discovered on the island and those associated with the Knights Templar, the secretive order of warrior monks who vanished mysteriously in the early 14th century. The Templars were known to have accumulated immense wealth, gold, relics, even rumored artifacts of religious significance, like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. When they were persecuted and forced into hiding, some believe they fled with their treasures to the New World, centuries before Columbus ever crossed the Atlantic. Could Oak Island have been one of their secret vaults, a final refuge for what they were sworn to protect? The discovery of a lead cross in Smith's Cove adds weight to this theory. The cross, stylistically similar to Templar artifacts found in France, tested as being centuries old. Nearby, fragments of human bone, one of Middle Eastern descent, another European, were discovered deep underground, preserved in the same layer as the mysterious wooden timbers. DNA testing confirmed the anomaly. How could remains from such distant origins end up buried together beneath a remote Canadian island? The implications suggest that people from across the Old World may have reached Nova Scotia long before recorded history acknowledges it. But the Templars are not the only suspects. Some researchers point to Spanish or Portuguese explorers, possibly privateers working under secret orders. These were men who roamed the seas in the 1500s and 1600s, looting the riches of the Americas and the Caribbean. With the British Navy and rival empires always on their trail, burying a massive cache in a hidden northern island could have been a clever move. Yet no records or ship's logs ever mention such an expedition. No royal charter, no map, nothing to prove it. It's as if whoever built Oak Island made sure to erase every trace of their presence. Then there are those who believe Oak Island's secret isn't gold or jewels at all, but knowledge, the kind of knowledge that could change history. Some claim that buried beneath the island could be the lost works of great minds' ancient manuscripts, secret scrolls or hidden archives smuggled away to protect them from destruction. The discovery of vellum parchment fragments deep in the boreholes only fuels this idea. Chemical analysis dated the material to between the 13th and 17th centuries, the same era when the Templars, Freemasons, and Rosicrucians were all active across Europe. Could Oak Island be the final chapter of their shared mystery? The island's layout itself adds to the intrigue. Aerial mapping and satellite imaging revealed strange geometric patterns, triangles, crosses, and alignments that seem to match constellations like Orion's belt. Some believe these alignments could be ancient markers, designed to pinpoint the money pit or other hidden vaults using celestial positioning. Others dismiss them as coincidence. But on Oak Island, coincidence feels rare. Every shape, every symbol seems intentional, as if someone designed the island not merely to hide something, but to tell a story to those clever enough to decode it. Modern geological surveys have also revealed anomalies that defy natural explanation. Deep beneath the money pit area, there are chambers that appear to have smooth, symmetrical walls, carved rather than formed by erosion. Metallic reflections captured by sonar scans suggest the presence of objects buried within those chambers. Engineers say it's possible that these are sealed vaults, but reaching them would risk collapse or flooding, the very same dangers that have haunted treasure hunters since 1795. And then there's the matter of the inscribed stone, the one reportedly found in the 1800s, marked with mysterious symbols that, when translated, allegedly read 40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried. Though the original stone has vanished, historical records confirm its existence. Linguists later compared sketches of its symbols to early cipher scripts used by secret societies. Some claim it's an encoded message, not a literal instruction, but a warning, a clue that the treasure is not simply wealth, but something that must remain hidden. The environmental anomalies add another layer of curiosity. Traces of mercury found in Smith's Cove suggest some kind of chemical preservation process, possibly for protecting documents or organic materials. Mercury was often used in ancient alchemy and preservation rituals, especially by groups guarding sacred relics or texts. What were they preserving? Gold would not require mercury, but ancient manuscripts, artifacts of faith, or delicate relics certainly would. And yet, despite all this, skeptics persist. Geologists argue that the flood tunnels could be natural formations, carved by centuries of groundwater erosion. They suggest that the wood and artifacts may have drifted in through sinkholes or early human activity. But even they struggle to explain the precision of the constructions, the layered platforms, or the artificial placement of stones and logs exactly every 10 feet as documented in early excavations. Nature doesn't build traps, humans do. As more evidence accumulates, one thing becomes clear: the builders of Oak Island were not amateurs. Whoever they were, they possessed knowledge of engineering, mathematics, and navigation that rivaled the most advanced civilizations of their time. They had the resources to move tons of material, the secrecy to operate without record, and the foresight to design a system that would protect their secret for centuries. Some researchers have even proposed that Oak Island was part of a larger network of sites, a grid stretching across the Atlantic, connecting to Templar strongholds, Masonic lodges, and ancient routes of exploration. Similar symbols have been found in Portugal, Scotland, and even the Azores. Could Oak Island be the final node in an ancient map, the endpoint of a journey that began long before recorded history? The evidence, though fragmented, speaks to one undeniable truth. Oak Island's mystery is not a simple tale of greed or adventure. It's a mosaic of cultures, technologies, and beliefs that somehow converged on one small piece of land in Nova Scotia. Every relic, every tunnel, every coded message seems to point to a purpose greater than mere treasure. Whether it was faith, power, or preservation, the builders meant for their secret to endure long after they were gone. And through the centuries, that purpose has succeeded. The island has kept its silence. It has taken lives, tested minds, and devoured fortunes. Yet, even now, with modern machines digging deeper than ever before, the ultimate answer remains just beyond reach, enticing, elusive, and timeless. For more than 2 centuries, Oak Island has stood as one of humanity's most enduring enigmas, a place where hope and obsession blur into one. From Daniel McGinnis's first discovery in 1795 to the Lagina brothers' modern-day excavations, every generation has added another chapter to this unfolding legend. They came seeking gold, jewels, and glory. But what they've truly uncovered is something deeper, a mirror reflecting our endless curiosity, our hunger to understand what came before us, and our unshakable belief that some mysteries are worth any price to solve. The layers of Oak Island tell a story written in earth and salt water, a story of ingenuity, secrecy, and sacrifice. Beneath its surface may lie a treasure of unimaginable value, or perhaps a secret meant to remain buried. Whether it was the work of pirates protecting their loot, Templar knights safeguarding sacred relics, or explorers hiding the forgotten knowledge of the ancients, the truth remains locked in a web of stone and soil, guarded by time itself. But maybe, just maybe, the real treasure of Oak Island isn't gold or silver. Maybe it's the quest itself, the centuries of minds drawn together by a shared mystery, the evolution of human determination, the blending of faith and science in pursuit of an answer that continues to slip through our fingers. As machines rumble and new technologies probe deeper than ever, one question continues to echo across the island's windswept shores. What is Oak Island protecting? Perhaps when the final chamber is opened and the last barrier gives way, we'll find not just the answer to a mystery, but the proof that some legends are born not to deceive us, but to remind us how far we'll go to uncover the truth. And until that moment arrives, the curse of Oak Island endures, not as a warning, but as an invitation for the next generation of dreamers to take up the hunt once more.